want to join academic parent-teacher teams as a program?
I think as a teacher, one of the things that we don't necessarily have control over is the parental involvement at home. And we know that is such an important key for students to be successful, is not only the support they receive at school, but having that parental support at home. So my philosophy is anything that we can do to get the parents more involved in their students' academic life will not only make students more successful, but make the family unit more successful as well.
Give us an idea of what you had to do to be prepared for this first academic parent-teacher team meeting.
I went back and I assessed all of my students, got some pre-assessment data so that I'd be able to provide parents with a pretty broad overview of where their students are at. We're about 4.5 weeks into this term. And then put the assessment results into language that the parents can understand. And so I did the assessments, I created charts and graphs, we have a PowerPoint presentation, I made different materials for the parents tonight for all the activities. For me, I expect parents tonight to be a little bit out of their comfort zone, to get to kind of remind themselves what it's like to sit in little desks and be first graders again, and to hopefully have their eyes opened as to the rigor and the structure that their student is receiving every day and the quality of education that they're receiving. I'm just going to kind of treat you like I treat my first graders, and we're going to start off with what our objective is for tonight. Tonight your objective is that you can review your student's progress and write a short-term 60-day goal for his or her success. So by the end of the night you will have written that 60-day goal for your student. Our agenda for tonight that Maria already basically covered is welcome. So I'm so glad that you're here. We're going to cover our whole class data. We're going to look at your student's individual data, which is in your yellow folder, and that's why I don't want you peeking at that yet. We're going to have some activities that will support what you learned tonight so that you can help support your student. We're going to pass out the materials for practice that you'll actually get to take home with you, and then the rest of the evening will be for you to get to network and socialize with the other parents in the room, because as I kind of look at our first grade class, we're one big community and we're one big family. Our objective is to increase the quality and quantity of parent-teacher communication to optimize student learning. Again, as Maria explained, we'll have 3 team meetings per year of roughly about 75 minutes. All classroom parents will meet together as a team. You're going to receive an individualized student academic report. You'll set 60-day academic goals. I will get to teach you 2 activities that will help benefit you and your student at home that you can work with them on. You'll receive those materials to take home with you to practice, so it's not something you'll have to create at home on your own. And then again, we'll have that one individual parent-teacher meeting that's 30 minutes long. And then we look at all the data that has happened over the last 60 days, and we create a new action plan based on that. So what is your responsibility? Attend meetings. We only have 3 throughout the year, and then you have your 1 individual meeting. And then you are your child's support at home. I can do what I can do at school, and I do my very best, and I put my heart and soul into it. Your child won't be successful without you at home supporting them. There is accountability at home as well. Phonograms. This is where we get into the data. When I was looking at what we needed to focus on for this very first meeting, I really focused on what is the biggest thing, what is the number one thing that a first grader needs to know by the time they go to 2nd grade. More than math, more than science, more than anything else, your student needs to know how to read. Studies have shown that students that leave 1st grade not reading at grade level makes it very hard for them to catch up later, and it just makes that achievement gap all the greater. So it's my job and it's your job as parents to make sure that your student leaves 1st grade at a 1st grade reading level, no matter what it takes. This is our pre-assessment. Now, the numbers down at the bottom represent your student's number, okay? Number 19 is actually the total amount of phonograms. It's not a student. We only have 18 students in our class. I told you your student's number, and I did put this graph in your folder as well, so you'll be able to see where our class is at. Knowing that student 19 is 70 phonograms, some of them are about halfway there. Some of them are a little bit less, some of them are higher. Overall, that's pretty decent. I'm okay with that. The second thing we're going to talk about tonight is our high-frequency words. High-frequency words are those words that I call outlaw words. They do not conform to the standard phonetic way of sounding them out. The more high-frequency words your students know, that they'll just be able to recall by sight, the better reader they will be. And that will push them to reach their oral fluency goal, which by the end of 1st grade is 60 words a minute. So we will get out there. Our pre-assessment results, class average, out of the 225 words that your student will need to know by the end of 1st grade, our class average is 68. So roughly 30%. Your students know 30% of the 225 words they need to know. Our class goal is that during the next 60 days, your student increases by about 50 words so that they know roughly the first 114 words. You do have the graph inside your notebooks. We will get onto that. We do have students that are on the lower end, and we have students that I've already given second grade words to. So we have a huge disparity in our scores, which is great. I have no problem with that because that's my job to help make sure that I can differentiate their instruction. Get those students that are on the lower end up and get those students that are on the higher end pushed even higher. So, your child's pre-assessment results. There's a huge range in our class. Please, when you look at your students' scores, don't take it as a sign of their intelligence. It absolutely is not. It just is where your student is right now. It's the reality of where they're at right now. Students learn at different paces. Keep that in mind. Some students have scored very high, some in the lower range. Like I just mentioned, accommodations will be made to reach each student through continued practice, enrichment, and providing more challenging material. That's what I'm going to do. I am huge on setting expectations super high, because if you set them high, then your goals will be high. Even if they don't meet those expectations, they're still going to go further than they were if you had the bar down low. And we're here to look at the scores and just help you set goals to make your student a better reader. And tonight you're going to learn all of what the phonograms are. We're going to do a little activity on that. For your high frequency words, if you want to take a look at the high frequency word graph, you can kind of see, again, check your student number and then see where your student falls in. And know that in 60 days, we really want your student to be as close to 114 words as possible.
So what are the words?
You actually have a copy of the list that your student knows right behind that graph. So I think you have the second page in your hand, right there. That is a list of the words that they currently know. If it has a minus next to the word, it means that word is a word they do not know. Let's get into our activity. You're going to get to do what your student does every day in a condensed form, and you're going to do the phonograms. I will put up my fingers for the number of sounds that this phonogram has, and I'll give you clues. And let's see if you know what these phonograms are. So I'll show it to you and you say it. R. E. Has two sounds. Ed. D. T. And I will correct you on that. The second sound of this does not say duh, it says d. So it's ed, d, t. So this is what your student does every day, but it goes more like this. Sitting with your feet. And they say flat, back, straight, head, high. Okay. R, E, ed, d, t. And I don't say it, they're going this fast. It's that fast. So now that we've learned our phonograms, you're going to get to do the WPR portion, which is the written phonogram review. So I'm going to need a class helper. Would you please make sure that everybody gets a pencil?
Of course.
All right. So because you're learning your phonograms, I'll give you immediate feedback, which means that after I give you the phonogram, you try to write it down, and then I will show it to you. Okay? If you don't know the phonogram, same thing I tell your students, put a slanted line across. If you get it wrong, cross it out and write it correctly. And let's see, I'll give you 10. Let's see how well you do. And your kids are going to love this when you get home, because they know you're doing this tonight. All right, your first phonogram is R. And I know you're done when your eyes are on me. If you got it right, give yourself a smiley face or a star. Next, ed, d, t. By now, your students are like, yeah, I got it. Or, oh, darn it. Can I give myself a smiley face anyway? No. Or you see them get out their eraser, they're like, no. Put that eraser away. There are no erasers during Spalding. Your next one is k. 2 letters used at the end of a word following a short vowel. Oi, not used. No hints on this one. And our last one for tonight. So take a look. This is what your student does Monday through Friday every day. And tonight you're going to get phonograms to take home. And you don't just have the 53 phonograms, you'll have all 77. And it'll be checked out. There's a contract actually in your folder. We'll get these checked out to you. And this, same thing. Choose 10. You'll be able to look at the list. If you look in your folder, it'll say Spalding phonogram list at the top. Should be the third piece of paper in there. Have little stars on the right-hand side. It'll say oral phonogram individual assessment form. As of August 31st, if it has a dot next to it, it is a phonogram that your student did not know. High frequency words. If you want to take a look at the high frequency word page in there, like I said, it shows you every word that your student doesn't know. And this is a list of all 225 words. Now, the activity, there's a million things you can do for this. My favorite is you all get to go home with a set of Post-it notes tonight. Okay? And what I would like you to do, and I actually stole this idea from a parent and I thought it was brilliant. Take the high frequency words, choose, if your student is struggling, choose maybe 5. 5 for the first few days. And write them on a Post-it note, put them in the bathroom, put them on the door, put them on the back of a cereal box, put them in their homework folder, wherever that your student is going to see them the most often, and make them be, while they're brushing their teeth, they have to read the words in the bathroom. While they're eating their cereal, if they eat at home, they need to read the 5 words that they need to learn. Before they walk out the door, they have to read the 5 words that are on the door. Very, very easy. The more exposure that they get to the words that they're struggling with, the better they'll learn them, the faster they'll learn them. So do this. Now, another activity is make flashcards. You can make flashcards out of construction paper. If you have any questions on activities, either the Spalding or high frequency word activities. Yes.
When you teach Spalding, do you teach it with the manual?
No, it is this.
Is that-
Yep. So at this point, why don't you take a look at the goal sheet in your folder. It'll say My Reading Goals on the top with a bookworm. Has your student's name on it. And take a look at the data. Take a look at the graph. And this is a goal that you're going to make for your child. This is a goal that you're going to think about how your child's doing, knowing your child how you do, knowing your student how you do. What do you think is a realistic goal for them in the next 60 days? Then go ahead, write down where they are at currently, write down the goal, and then what will happen, you can sign it at the bottom. We're going to leave this here with your Spalding contract. I will make a copy of it and send it home with your student tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks for coming, you guys. So good to see you.
I just wanted to get your perspective on this academic parent-teacher team meeting that you just experienced.
It was very educational. I only get so much from my daughter, and to be on the flip side of it and be able to see what the teacher is doing so that I can be educated to educate my daughter is really coming full circle. I like it.
What do you think of the data that you looked at today?
Made me realize how much I had forgotten, and made me realize that the way the system is going to go is going to make my child learn quicker and easier than I remember learning.
So you think you're ready to accomplish that goal that you set for your child?
Yes,
Yes.
without a hitch.
What do you think about meeting as a group 3 times a year and then meeting with the teacher individually for 30 minutes?
I like it. It seems more personal. I have more time to sit and hear what other people have to say and be able to get their opinion and ask questions, and it's nicer. I like it.